it's the last game for MOAB, and with no real surprise, I got a matchup against Dark Elves. Pretty much a standard Dark Elf army you'd expect to see in the tournament scene, though there were a few differences. Firstly, he had no Cauldron of Blood, he was running a level 4 Supreme Sorceress, and had a nasty looking unit of Cold One Knights. But apart from that, you got the big unit of Blackguard with the standard of Hag Reef, the Hydra, the Chariot, 2 repeater bolt throwers, 2 units of Harpies, large block of warriors, 2 units of about 10 repeater crossbowmen, a unit of 5 shades with an assassin with rending stars, and a unit of 5 dark riders. Now, playing against an army that had quite a few shooting, you can see in my deployment that I've placed the majority of them behind the hill, just waiting for him to come across and park on top of the hill, and hopefully I can get a charge off. But I'm pretty sure he was anticipating that already. You can also see that I've placed the giant behind that scenery, which we classified as difficult terrain that also blocked line of sight. Now, in the event that he would march his troops between that terrain and the ruined building on the top right hand corner, I could simply whack the big fella onto the flank of the unit. You can see in this picture also that he's obviously taken the first turn and moved his harpies towards the middle of the table, just ready to pounce on the Doom Diver. The Dark Riders also moved towards the center of the table to cause as much havoc as it could. His Cold One Knights and Chariot both suffered from stupidity, so that kept them at the bay for now. During his magic phase, well, he wasn't within range of anything with his Supreme Sorceress, which was hiding in the Spearman unit. His shooting phase didn't do much either, as the repeater bolty which he deployed in the far right hand flank was just too far, while a couple of his Dark Riders couldn't kill any of the Night Goblins. During my first, I didn't move too many troops, apart from the Savage Orc Boar Boys, which I parked just before the hill. The Squig Herd unit decided to bicker amongst themselves, and everything behind the herd had no chance to move. Now, I had the option of shooting either the Harpies or the Dark Riders with the Doom Diver, and I opted with the Dark Riders because if the Harpies were to move in and charge the Doom Diver next turn, I could hit it with the Lone Fanatic that I had. Anyway, my guess was a little long with the Doom Diver. Fortunately, it was a hit and didn't scatter, and rolled a 4 to see how many inches I could deviate, which is a 2 with D3 inches. And now I hit the unit and rolled a 5 to see how many hits and managed to kill the Dark Riders. But unfortunately, he passed the panic test for the Harpies after I wiped them out. In his second turn, as expected, he charged the Harpies into the Doom Diver and triggered the Fanatic. Rolled to see how far the little fellow would go and actually went through the Harpies. But too bad for me, because I rolled a 1 and then I failed to win with that hit as well. He passed stupidity for the Cold One Knights this time. However, his Chariot failed for a second straight turn and stumbled forward. He's revealed his assassin that was hiding in the Shade unit and parked him on top of the hill for the Savage Orc Boar Boy to see. With the Sorceress and her unit moving up, it was now in range of some nasty magic. But having 6 dispel dice, I managed to dispel all of the spells that the Sorceress tried to cast. In close combat, the Harpies easily took care of the Doom Diver and overran off the table. My turn! Now, the Squig Herd failed their animosity check once again and stalled the advance for the Orc Boys. The Savage Orc Boar Boys had no chance but to charge the Assassin's unit of Shades. Got shot up pretty badly as he scored plenty of wounds on the Savage Orc Boar Boys. But when it came to roll for those 6+ ward saves, rolled about 4 or 5 6s, and only, I think 3 Savage Orc Boar Boys died. So in they went, the assassin scoring 2 wounds, but I managed to save both of those wounds. One from the ward save and one because of the armor save. And my turn to attack, and I fluffed it big time once again. Only managed 3 kills with about 12 attacks. And out of those 12 attacks, I think I put about 4 attacks onto the assassin and only wounded it once. And you can credit the assassin's weapon skill of 9 to that, because with a weapon skill of 9 you need about 5s to hit. Yeah, definitely 5s to hit. So with the remaining 2 shades, they picked up their great weapons and took about 2 more Savage Orc Boar Boys with them, and couldn't save them with the ward save nor the armor save. Working out the combat, I had the 3 kills standard and the war banner, while he had numbers and the 2 kills. So the lone Savage Orc Boar Boy won combat, and to my surprise, he broke from combat. Failed to catch the assassin, Didn't panic the Cold One Knights because they were less than unit strength 5 now, and that left the Savage Orc Boar Boy staring at the Cold One Knights. He was sweating at the start of his turn because he had to make some stupidity checks, but he did pass for both his Cold One Knights and his chariot this time. And that allowed his Cold One Knights to charge into the Savage Orc Boar Boy, which was wiped out from the charge. And you can see here that his Harpies have moved back onto the table, ready to cause some havoc on my Bolt Thrower artillery. I've got another picture of his Cold One Knights charging into my lone Savage Orc Boar Boy, taking it apart and overrunning to the top of the hill. Now, if my Squig Herd hadn't squabbled for the first 2 turns of the game, they would have gotten a counter charge off, and quite possibly I would have combined charge with my Black Orc War Boss on the Wyvern, but it just wasn't meant to be. Another notable mention that happened in this game was when I decided to charge my Giant into the Supreme Sorcerer's unit, along with the Spearmen. And he failed his terror check, and they ran towards the beige-coloured ruined building, as you can see here. And because of that, they were wiped out, but that left the Giant's flank being exposed to the Black Guard, which he slammed into in his following turn. He couldn't kill the Giant in his combat phase, leaving it with only 1 win left. But when I tested to see if he would fall over due to losing combat, I rolled a 1. And so the big fella fell over, wounded himself, and dying in the process. Quite a moment in the game, but it's a shame that I didn't get a picture of it. During my turns, tried to shoot the Hydra, which he left in front of the hill at one point. Tried to shoot it with the bolties, but just couldn't hit it. Kept rolling very poorly, plenty of 1s and 2s when I only needed 3s to hit because he was in close range. Now I was about to charge the Harpies with my Wolf Fighters, who were taking out my Spear Chuckers. Yep, they failed their animosity check. And by the end of the game, all of the Spear Chuckers were gone, and he just moved his Harpies towards his side of the table to contest table quarters. On my final turn, I've charged his chariot with my Black Orc War Boss. And once again, fluffed my attacks with both the War Boss and the Wyvern. In retaliation, he's wounded the Wyvern, and it was even combat because I outnumbered him. All I needed was to win by 1 point, and he would have been rolling on Snake Eyes because he feared the Wyvern. But such is the life of an Orc and Goblin player. These things happen. We didn't score that many kills during this game because I think we both tried to conserve as much points as we could. I think his intentions at the start of the game was to try and massacre me or beat me as much as he could, but all that changed once his Supreme Sorceress ran onto a building and died. As for me, well, I was looking for a draw, and that's what I got. It was a 10-all final result, which left me with 78 battle points and 2 points short for an on-par result of 80. At the end of the tournament, I placed equal 29th out of 67 participants, so I was very pleased with that result. I came in wanting to place in the top half of the final standings, and I can say I've successfully achieved that. Now, I know it took a while for me to get these battle reports up, but I'm glad that you guys stuck around and watched the rest of the videos. So thanks for watching, and until next time, happy gaming!